Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desire of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. Let's pray. God, we thank you for the gift of Marianne Bryan in her life. We thank you for the chance we have to come together now to celebrate her, to be grateful for her, to mourn well, and to find our comfort and our hope in you. You are good, God, and you do what is good. And we ask that this would be a time of healing and of joy and of mourning. Amen. I'd like to welcome you to the celebration of Marianne's life. I know that because of the kind of person Marianne was, there are all kinds of people here from all kinds of different backgrounds with all different kinds of connections to Marianne. And I know that we've all been affected by her positively in different ways. And while today is a sad day because she is not here to celebrate with us in person, we all know what she would want today to be about. She would want all of us to have a good time, to be laughing, to be remembering, to be celebrating. And while we will be doing that, it's also a hard day. We're grieving because somebody that was such a bright light is not in this room in the same way anymore. And so as we laugh, we will cry, and that's okay. Honoring Marianne means doing both. And while I know she would want everyone to be having a good time and to be comfortable, I'm sure she wouldn't mind a few tears either. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to celebrate Marianne and her life by hearing from and receiving from many people that she herself poured into. And then we're going to enjoy some time together to celebrate with food and drink and hanging out. So first, what I would like to do is I would like to welcome up members of Beta Sigma Phi International, which is a non-academic sorority that promotes social, cultural, and service activities for women. Marianne was a member of Beta Sigma Phi International since November 1987. Her chapter, Epsilon Phi Master of Fremont, is going to honor her now with a memorial ritual.
We gathered together this afternoon in sisterhood to remember in our heart and memory the life and virtues of a dearly departed member. Mary Ann was a member of Epsilon Phi Master. She started her membership in sorority in 1987. At various times, she held the offices of president, vice president, recording secretary, and corresponding secretary. The glowing torch of her bright self will be absent from us. The clear light of her spirit shall remain undimmed. In life, she was devoted to the good, the true, the beautiful. And as by color, form, and music touched to tears. With loyal heart and her never-failing effort, she faithfully fulfilled her duties. Then, being weary for a moment, she lay down to rest. Using her burden for a pillow, she fell into a dreamless sleep. While yet in love with life and raptured with the world, she passed to timeless silence. So every life, no matter if every hour is rich with love and every moment filled with joy, must at its close become to those who stay a tragedy as sad and dark as can be. In Miriam's death, hope sees a star, and by listening closely, love can hear the rustling of her wings. Mary Ann was a faithful and true friend to all of us in Beta Sigma Phi. We will all treasure the many times, fun times that we shared during the 28 years of sorority. The loss is difficult for us, but we need to focus on all the virtues of our sisterhood, which she cherished and exemplified. In memory of Mary Ann, we always want to remember the love and friendship that we shared with her. She demonstrated to us that it's best to enjoy friendship, to share it with one another, and to take it with us all eternity. For true friendship is infinite and immortal. The record of Jenna's life runs like a vine around her memory, and her every sweet, unselfish act is now a perfumed flower. To everyone to whom she did a service was to bring a blossom to her grave. She would sleep tonight between a wilderness of flowers. Now, in the midst of our tears, the light of love beholds the rainbow of the 6 virtues of our sisterhood. The first one was red, the red of courage. It was Mary Ann's favorite color. Her car was red. Her fingernails were red. She loved red roses. The way she fought a courageous battle to overcome this illness. The second was born of her loyalty. During her 28 years in 5 chapters, she held offices, participated in all aspects of our chapter, and always a supportive sister. And upon her passing, she was ready to take her last level with us. Her next chapter. Sorry. Oh, well. The yellow of her vision, which was the third, was exemplified by the sparkle in her eyes, her beautiful smile, and her positive attitude. Mary Ann was a peacemaker. She always had a kind word whenever we had little issues in the chapter. Little things to figure out, as we called them. The fourth virtue, which was green, was fellowship. And when she was always getting together with family and friends, and she loved her grandchildren, and she would share all of her events. We would always do that chapter. And we kind of brag a little about all of it, but it was fun. Even during her illness, she reconnected with someone that became one of our members that had been in sorority with her many years ago. The fifth was a blue She was always courageous and gracious and a caring lady. With the exception, don't anybody get in the way of her blue and gold Calvaires. And number 6 was Violet, her service. I can remember years ago, Marianne always had such great service ideas, some for underdeveloped countries, where we would send mosquito nets and wood-burning stoves, and she would have speakers that always had to do with charitable issues. And even at the beginning of her illness, when our chapter said, what can we do for you, Marianne? She wanted a blood drive because she wanted to give back because she had gotten such a precious blood. So character survives, goodness lives, love is immortal. She had now no need for sun or moon. We as her sisters need to keep forever bright within our hearts and love what we had for her and the memory of her living presence. She is our sister. Eternal Father, shepherd of the stars, guide us that we may follow only the good, only the true, only the beautiful. Hold aloft to us a guiding torch of wisdom, and help us to push on, undaunted, toward the light. Illume our souls with thy wisdom, that we may turn the light away for those who follow us. If the road we take seems obscure and dust, give us a skill and grace to brave the stars. Transmute the dust into stardust. Grant us experience of vision, the experience of spirit, and grant us the service that we may be all able to push toward our goal. May the Lord watch between me and thee, while we're absent, bind them together.
What we're going to do next is we're going to have the chance to hear from more people who are close to Marianne throughout her life to share with us their perspective of her. It's clear there's so much to Marianne and who she was and how she added to so many lives. And what's also true is that each of us got to see a different aspect of who she was, a different part of Marianne. C.S. Lewis has said that it is only when we share a friend with others that we can really appreciate who they are. That is, there are things in each of us that are only brought out by a friendship with a particular person. So there are things within you that were only brought out by Marianne. And there are things within Marianne that only you got to see. And when we share our perspectives and our memories of her, what we actually get to do is appreciate more facets of the diamond that was Marianne's life. And so that's what we're going to get to do here. And so this time of sharing, I hope that we're all able to see the Marianne that we knew and new pieces of her that bless us and allow us to appreciate and celebrate who she has been to us. So I'm going to invite some people up to come and share with us the facets of the diamond of Marianne that they were able to see. So first I'd like to invite up Eileen Boyce, Marianne's older sister, the person who's known her the longest. Why is it her last name?
I'm her younger sister.
You can talk to Jeff about that.
I thought I had the word much older in there, but
Yes, Marianne was a diamond. She was born in the month of April, same as me, which is the diamond. I have so many memories of my sister Marianne, my little sister. I remember her from almost the day she was born. She was a chubby little baby with lots of hair. I remember Mom putting her in my arms when I sat in the rocking chair, and Mom was quite clear that she was not a doll. Mary and I always shared a room. Always. She was a night owl, and I fell asleep right away. I remember us sleeping peacefully all night. Or not. Only recently did she tell me she used to sneak out after I was asleep and join Mom and Dad for a bowl of ice cream. I remember playing dolls with real dolls later on. We played dress up all the time. We only got in trouble one time when we dressed up our little brother just a little too much. It could have been the lipstick or the nail polish. I didn't do it. I think Beth did that. Oh, I did. We would put on shows in the backyard for the neighbors. Sometimes we clean our rooms and sell our junk to the neighbors. And then we buy their junk when they clean their rooms. I remember running through the neighborhood playing hide and seek, sardines, or just sitting on a blanket playing cards and games. I'm pretty sure that was the blanket that Marianne hid a few cards under too. I remember building tents. We built tents everywhere. I love tents to this day. I built tents with my grandchildren. She built tents with her children. Tents were the thing. We climbed a huge tree across the street from where we lived. We played house in its highest branches. Well, actually, Mary was in the higher branches. I was a bit lower down. I remember Mom sewing us matching dresses. A couple times, Mom sewed us all matching outfits, including the boys. I remember family trips every year and playing games in the car to pass the time. It was especially fun to put our little brother in the middle, and then every time Mom or Dad took a corner, we'd pile on. I have a lot of memories of Mary and I going through Bluebirds, Campfire Girls, and Horizon Club. I remember Marianne at one time, she got glasses when we were young, and she'd always complain, oh, my long eyelashes keep hitting my glasses. Well, I got her back because when she got her contact lenses, we'd have to sit at the kitchen table and practice putting those contact lenses in. And of course, I'm her guide. Look to the left mirror, look to the right. Oops, sorry. So, anyway, but Marianne was always there. She always knew when to call me. She knew what to say when I was going through a rough time. I remember stories of Marianne's college years at Berkeley. And I probably didn't hear everything. But she did meet Jeff there. And after a long engagement, they got married. I remember I was a matron of honor, 7 months pregnant, wearing a fluffy frou-frou dress with red apples on it. And then Mary took her white wedding gown and embroidered with red thread. That's when I knew she was a rebel, and everyone knew that she liked red. I remember Marianne as a wonderful wife and mother to 2 very special children. She spent a lot of time with these children, teaching them crafts and activities. She was a truly gifted artist. I think my son remembers the time when we did his entire room with the Star Wars figures that Marianne had made all the stencils for, the entire room. She was an excellent book reader, too. I remember her reading I'll Love You Forever at a baby shower at my house. There wasn't a dry eye in the house when she was finished. She was such an amazing teacher in life and in the classroom. When I asked my two children, Jeremy and Stacy, what they remembered about their aunt, they both wrote up pages of memories, which I'm going to read to you now. No, one. Okay, Jeremy's vivid memories, and you're going to love this one, was his aunt's infatuation with Magnum PI. He remembers eating breakfast at her house while sitting around the table. Mary Ann would always like to open the cereal cabinet that had a poster of Tom Selleck in his cool car taped to the inside of that door. Then she would break into a funky dance in the kitchen, singing Magnum PI theme song. Well, she traumatized Jeremy because he says he still has that song in his head. My daughter Stacy, one of the ones I picked, was that the memory that brings a smile to her mind is the time we performed the Raisin Dance. Mary Ann choreographed this dance with us wearing trash bags, high tops, Mary Ann's were red, hats and sunglasses. Through all the years, I will always remember sharing a birthday celebration with Mary Ann. We were 1 week apart. I was the younger one. When we were young, it was always a swim party. As we got more mature, older, it was a family celebration, usually always around Easter. I have happy memories of Mary Ann, Beth, and I shopping for our Christmas presents. We would pick out exactly what we wanted, and then we'd act surprised when we opened it. We did a good job. I remember all the sibling trips we took together. First, we took them with Mom, and always on her birthday, and then later with our spouses. It's hard to believe, but as siblings, we always seem to get along, and that's what I remember. My last memory of my sister Mary Ann was the week before she died, when she sat on the edge of her bed and twerked. That you saw. Yes, she did a tiny little twerk after we had just gotten done dancing from Backstreet Boys Are Back. And she was going like this. Mary Ann was quite a character. She was an easygoing, happy woman who brought sunshine into the lives of everyone who was lucky enough to meet her. It is the same sunshine that I see in her two children, Eric and Jeanette. And they in turn have passed it on to Mary Ann's grandchildren, Patrick, Alice, and Marcus. Mary Ann will continue to live on in our hearts and our memories. Our loss is a heaven's gain. I will love you forever, Mary.
Mary Ann's lovely younger sister. So next I'd like to invite up someone whose birth order I won't guess, but Rob Wilson, Mary Ann's brother.
Sure, I'm glad I didn't see the twerking. So I'm Rob, I'm Mary Ann's younger brother. I'm her favorite brother. I'm her best looking, most athletic, most intelligent brother. Okay, I'm talking about Mary Ann, sorry. So I read a comment on Facebook, which I think really kind of captured her. It was actually from somebody who didn't know her that well. It said, you know, I always had a smile when I saw Mary Ann because I knew what was coming. Yeah. She was fun, but there's some other things I'd like to talk about her attributes. She was loving, generous, protective, dramatic, and dare I say it, stubborn, and very tradition-driven. Her first love, sorry Jeff, it wasn't you, chocolate. She was a severe chocoholic, and if you ever saw her arms, you would have seen the needles from which she injected directly. And this is where she actually showed her generous side because she would share her chocolate with you. And it was fresh chocolate. It wasn't like my older sister Eileen who brought Easter eggs from 3 years ago. They were actually white. I thought it was white chocolate and really nasty. And she'd give it to you with some catnip. But Marianne was generous. She gave it to you for no reason. It was a very nice thing that she did. It was interesting, last week they were going through her things and through her jewelry box, and in the bottom of the jewelry box they found her hidden stash of chocolate. And it wasn't for her necessarily, it was so she could give it to Jeff. But a little bit at times she wouldn't eat it all the same day. That was her kind of her generous side. She had another opportunity when I was going to travel to Disneyland with my lovely wife Beth and my MGB. It broke down. MGB, break it down. Can you believe it? Never happened. And she let me use her prized possession, her Mustang, a classic Mustang, to go all the way down to Los Angeles and back. Red seats, leather seats. Oh, I weren't leather, but they were close enough to it. But she just gave it to me, and I went down there. No accidents. That was good. But she's setting me up. This generosity thing. There's a famous blueberry donut story. She comes up to me and would you like a blueberry donut? I'm going, yeah, I love a blueberry donut. She doesn't like blueberries, but I'm thinking, oh, that's really nice of her. She had a chocolate old-fashioned hidden back. She ate the chocolate old-fashioned donut in front of me when I'm starting to eat this blueberry donut. And she just set me up because I thought she was this generous person, but now. So now we have a blueberry donut story, and every time we offer something to anybody in our family, it's kind of like, are you giving me something, or is this the blueberry donut? We know there's something better back there. Marianne got into biking a couple of years ago, a fun activity to do with Jeff, and she actually went through a couple of bikes. I think the reason she got into it is because I told her at the end of the ride in recovery, we could drink chocolate milk. And she did. It was what she looked forward to. She'd come at the end of it, and I'm so tired. The chocolate milk would always pick her up. That was the best thing. And this is an example of the stubborn Marianne. She went out and rode a metric century. And she did this when she was starting to suffer from anemia and had to stop a couple times to recover. You know, if it was me, I would have been stopped at the first 10-mile break stop. I would have been eating like crazy and coming up with a pickup wagon and saying, come get me, I'm done. But she persevered through the whole thing, finished it, and got her metric century done. She was stubborn. She would say that she would never own a van, she would never live in a 2-story house. She reiterated this over and over again. I'm never having a van or a 2-story house until she got one. Both the van and the 2-story house. She loved Cal. I mean, there's no question about it. You can see all the Cal vomit up here. I mean, there's this incredible amount of display here. She would go to the football games regularly. By the way, I went to Cal, so it's not really, I don't want to disparage it. It's hard for me to look at all this red, quite frankly. I did paint one of my fingernails red, just to remember, but that's as far as I'm going. She would go to football games every year, even through the Roger Theta era, where they basically won maybe 2 games a year. And she would sit faithfully with Eric. They would sit in the end zone. Worst seats in the house. Worst seats. Dead set right behind the goalpost, 20 yards back. And they did that because when Eric was young, he wanted to catch the football. He wanted to catch the extra point. Well, he was doing this when he was 40 years old. Sorry, not 40 yet.
Barely 30.
But it was a tradition for her. They started there, they weren't going to move. And even when there was nobody at the game and they kind of moved to fantastic seats, that's where it's going to be. I'm going to sit here because it's the best. But I don't think she knew what a football game was until Jeff started going. They bought the luxury boxes, and she could watch a game. She could actually see it. Oh, look, there's people running around the field. I think, you know, she loved Cal so much, she bled blue and gold. And I think that was the problem. She didn't have red cells. It was all blue and gold. Besides Cal, she supported one other football team, and that was whoever was playing SC. You know, we missed her yesterday. Cal played USC, and I could still hear her voice, and it was a coach's voice, right? Ah, it's kind of really loud one. And she would just, you know, when the USC band went on the field, there were some things that came out of that mouth that would really surprise me. You know, shut up, stop playing the same song over and over again. If Eric or Jeanette had gone to USC, out of the family. No question. She was protective of those people that she cared about. I remember seeing her at Jeanette in a water polo game, and she's up there screaming in that same voice at the refs, "They're killing my daughter! They're killing her!" It's water polo, okay? It's part of the game. The same thing when something happened at the Cal football game, the refs made She was a terrible actress. She overacted like crazy. But it grew on her. I mean, she is now, I mean, she was just incredible in terms of being able to take that drama to a fight. You've all seen her in terms of having that production standard come up there. You've seen her when she does this fabulous storytelling. She'd go to the school and read this fabulous storytelling. Now try and get that in juxtaposition with her yelling obscenities of football. It's just two sides there. When we were smaller, and this is my one anecdote here, we went to the Fly Shepherd pool when they used to have the pool in San Francisco. And they had a high dive, really high. They used to limit diving there. And I climbed up to the top and looked down and says, no way, I'm not coming down this thing. Marianne climbed all the way up to the top, stood next to me and says, watch, I'll show you how to do this. Walks to the end, jumps off, perfect, just right in the water. I walked back down. You were probably expecting more splashy ending than But overall, Marianne was fun. You're going to be seeing a slideshow afterwards, and it's just, you're going to see the goofy, irresponsible sister that I grew up with. Some people mature with age. Marianne never grew up. She just got more and more fun. And I gotta remember, I owe Marianne big time because she made me call this phone number that my wife was attached to and went out on our first date, and somehow we ended up being married. And we ended up being good buddies all the way to the end. So I think you have to agree, when you see Marianne, you just have to smile. It's okay to clap, right?
I thought she was going to have pushed you off. Wait, next I want to invite up Jackie Crowell, who's one of Marianne's childhood friends and her college roommate.
Other than Eileen and Rob, I think I've known Marianne longer than anyone else. She and I were friends for over 50 years. She was a remarkable friend, and we had a very deep and abiding friendship. She was my sister of the heart. We grew up in San Lorenzo together. We always figured we would be fated to get together because our dads worked together. They were both Cal grads, of course. They were both civil engineers, of course, and they both worked for Alameda County. Marianne has always been surrounded by engineers. She lived on Villa Flores, and they grew up in the heart of San Lorenzo. It was an idyllic place to be a kid. They lived in the house with the piano in the front room and the pool in the backyard. It was a wonderful place to be. We really forged our bond, though, in Campfire Girls. We moved through 2 Campfire Girl activities in high school, where many of the girls dropped out because they discovered boys, sex, rock and roll, whatever. Somehow we stayed in Campfire Girls. And that wasn't easy because we were attending crosstown rival high schools, but we became fast friends. We were the campfire song leaders and the ones who ran the campfires for the younger girls, and Eileen, I know, remembers that well too. I remember one incident when Marianne had had the measles, and she was still very, very spotty looking, had a lot of telltale spots, but she didn't want to miss the campfire activities. So we decided to try our hand with makeup. Neither one of us was the least bit good at makeup. And we found pancake makeup. And she knew that she'd be good at this because of her dramatic activities in high school. So we covered her face and all of those spots, but it really was a whiter shade of pale. And she looked much more like a geisha than she did a wholesome campfire girl. No one though said a word to us. You know, Marianne sang a lot. She used to have a really good voice, and I had the guitar, and we both had our loud voices, her coaching voice, my lawyer voice, and we could lead all the girls in song. Well, naturally, she and I went to Berkeley together. She commuted for her first 2 years from San Lorenzo. I lived on campus. But then it came time for us to fledge into a first apartment. And we chose each other as roommates. And we lived together for 2 wonderful, transforming years. on the Berkeley campus. You know, we learned to cook together, we would plan out meals, we would stick to our schedules. We used a lot of recipes that came from Mary Ann's mother. Hamburger stroganoff is one that came to mind. I know her family will know that one. We were very budget conscious, but we always found the money for chocolate desserts. We made chocolate everything. We even made chocolate punch. Somebody put in baking soda instead of powdered sugar once, and it wasn't so good. But you know, I think we drank it anyway. We truly grew up together in those years at Berkeley. The politics of the time and the excellent education that we were receiving helped shape both of us and gave us an incredible larger world perspective that took us through into our adult years. Well, there are several things that I remember most about Mary Ann, and one of those things was that she was always happy. I think a lot of people have commented she was an eternal optimist. And you could never have a bad mood around Mary Ann because her optimism was absolutely contagious. I remember 2 incidents of happiness that I want to share. One is a bit silly, but it was while we were at Berkeley and the US had invaded Cambodia. There was a campus-wide reconstruction of education. Mary Ann had statistics that quarter, probably her least favorite class ever. And she came back one day really over the moon happy. Her final had been canceled, and everybody in the entire class was going to get a passing grade. So that was a time when she showed how happy she could be. But the happiest I have ever seen her was at her wedding with Jeff. Nobody has ever danced to Rock Around the Clock with such joy and such enthusiasm as Mary Ann had that day. The other thing I most remember about Mary Ann